if you are a doctor, I want a qualified doctor. I don't mean someone who's in their second year at medical school. We're not interested in that. Right, a qualified doctor, a GP, or any specialist, and you maybe want to contribute regularly, give us a call.
Yeah.
We'll even give you a special phone line and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Not for now, though. We're going to get a lot of mentalists, aren't we?
I would adopt a nom de plume, an alternative, identity, because your patients are going to flee if they find out you listen to this.
Exactly. What's the phone number, Carl?
Well, they might as well just email in with the number, mightn't they?
That's because you don't like answering the phone.
No, I just think it's a better way of doing it.
Okay. How can they prove they are a doctor?
Just,
Go on, Carl.
Something to do with,
Go on.
Go on.
Something to do with,
What thing could they say that we'd say, well, he's definitely a doctor, or we wouldn't know that? Think of something.
well, I'm not a doctor, so...
We're on the radio, Carl! When we ask you a question, you've got to speak!
I know, I'm just thinking, I don't know how you'd know, because you never ask them, do you? If you need their help, you don't think of going, no, before you do this, do you know what you're doing? But saying that, right?
Go on! Go on!
Talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it now? Listen, the fella, no, listen. Do you want, alright,
Alright, no, come on, alright, he's got it now.
Go on, go on.
This fella goes to the doctors, right?
Oh, right, okay. Right, if this isn't any way apocryphal, stupid, illogical, impossible, right, you are never, ever speaking again on radio. So make sure this is at least possible. I'll tell you what, I'll even give you improbable, but possible. So if anything that breaks the laws of the universe, or logic, okay, that's all you have to avoid. On you go.
Right, so this fella, right, he goes to the doctors because he's got earache.
Right. Okay, if a chimp's living in his brain... Go on.
So he's got earache, he's sat in the waiting room and his ear's all bunged up and it's hurting a lot and what have you. So the doctor comes out and he goes, right, and because his ear's all bunged up, he doesn't hear it that well, right? So he thinks it must have been me, right? So he wanders in.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Anyway,
I'm gonna hate this. I can just feel it in my bones. Steve, I'm gonna let you take over. Okay,
let's hear it.
So the doctor says, sit yourself down there, right? So he sits himself down. He goes, right, take your pants off, right? So he's thinking that's a bit odd. Anyway, he heard
that though.
He apparently he took his tackle off. The doctor did some operation.
What, there in the waiting room?
No, in his office.
In his office, yeah.
What?
Wait, so he removed what? His genitals?
Yeah.
In his office?
Why, Carl? Why, Carl?
Because he hadn't called him in.
Oh, he'd called in the bloke who wanted his testicles taken off, and he didn't do it. What? So the doctor went out and said, Mr. Jones, who's here to whip off your cock and balls, just here and now, right? Bloke comes in, didn't it? It must have been me. So the bloke who wanted his balls taken off didn't say, oh, I think he said me. So he didn't interrupt then. So the bloke goes in, he starts taking his testicles off, and he doesn't say, I'm here for me ears.
Rick.
Go on.
I'm about to say 3 little words to you that I've never said to anyone before.
Go on.
Carl is right.
On what, though?
From Reuters, someone's emailed in, a Brazilian man who went to a clinic to have an aching ear checked ended up having a vasectomy after mistakenly believing that the doctor had called his name. He had gone in there, entered the vasectomy room when he was called. He was called by the full name and yet thought it was him. But the strangest thing is that he asked no questions when the doctor started preparations in the area which had so little to do with his ear. He later explained that he thought it was an ear inflammation that had got down to his testicles. And the fellas came off. Extraordinary.
Right.
I'm stunned.
Amazing, isn't it?
But there's lots of things that keep coming true with Carl's nonsense. There's a programme on next week. The boy who gave birth to his twin.
Oh.
And he's there, he's like pregnant with his thing, you know.
How long ago did we do that?
Yeah, you discussed that years ago.
When I talked about it, it was a baby who had a baby. Now it's a boy who's like a grown man and that. It's took them ages to sort that out. I did it in one link one Saturday with the full story. Did I say I did sort of pirate radio?
No, go on.
Got into a...
yeah, the normal radio, but you had an eye patch on. Go on.
Dad was in hospital, right? And he was having some operation done, right? And went to see him, and didn't have that much to say to him, right? So
Well,
I
you
was,
don't,
sat, I was sat there. Well, it's awkward though, isn't it, when someone's ill
Yeah.
and you don't know.
Boring,
what to say.
isn't it? Boring.
So I was flicking around on that little radio thing they have,
Yeah.
and I heard like he had a radio station in the hospital. So I said, "Oh, I'm gonna go and join this." So I wandered off to go and find it.
Yeah.
Sort of joined that, did a little show on there. Thought I can sort of get out to the masses here. My mate made a little transmitter. Did a little pirate radio show from the got kicked out because they found out, and apparently I put the station at risk because all the stuff could have been taken off us.
But from Little Acorn, 16 years later, he's on a show with less listeners.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Can you imagine if you've gone into hospital, you're already pretty depressed, there's the fear of these bugs, super bugs in the hospital.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got some quite serious illness, you know,
Yeah.
you don't know if you're going to make it. His voice is what you hear to cheer you up.
Alright, weird, isn't it? I saw a programme about a parasite the other night. Yeah. Apparently, they get in through your eye and eat their way up through your genitals.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You
here's
think you've got it
Radiohead.
bad.
Yeah, exactly. Right, okay, this is the dilemma. Me and Steve, yesterday, were trying to convince Carl that it would be a good idea to buy Suzanne a Christmas present. Okay? Now, why aren't you going to buy her a Christmas present? Explain, Carl, why you don't think you should buy her a Christmas present.
No, I've told her I'll get her one, but in the new year. We're going away on holiday and that, so
Yeah.
there's no point taking stuff away.
Yeah.
Going to Lanzarote next week.
Just get something in the sales after Christmas for this, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And me and Steve were trying to explain to Carl that she would love it if you bought her something on Christmas Day.
Yeah, but she knows now.
But,
Knows
yeah.
what?
I've told her. So
No,
she's
well, I'm
getting
going to
out.
tell you, do you know, right, this, dear listener, this was Carl's worry. I said, I bet she's got you something. And Carl was worried in case he got her something and she hadn't got him something.
Yeah. He'd be livid.
He didn't want to be down. He didn't want to be a present down.
Yeah.
Look at his face! So buy her a nice necklace. Don't spend, just spend £100, you know, just a little token.
We're going away. I'm taking her away on holiday.
You're not taking her away, are you? What, you're paying for it, are you?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Well, half and half and that.
Right.
So you're paying for you to go on holiday? That's good of you. So the gift is your company, really?
She's done alright.
She's done alright!
Why do you talk like you're 60 years old? And you've been working down the mine.
I know that she's done alright. Do you go home to her and say, Suzanne, you're bloody lucky.
I mean,
You've fallen on your feet.
To
Look
be
who
fair,
you've
Rick,
got. What?
I'm not sure she has done alright. I don't want to be critical, but...
Never quite understood lap dancing. Never quite understood it. What's it? It's basically someone dancing naked, rubbing their arse in your face.
Yeah.
That's basically the gist of it, is it?
But you can't. The rules is you can't touch.
Do they do a home service?
I just think it's nearly. I've got to be careful what I say here, but it's sort of, you know, I'm dissing Stringfellows or anything, but is that not sort of like one step down from prostitution?
That's
Having
such an antiquated... What,
No,
are you
do you
from
know what
the 19th century?
No, but I mean, what? It's like it's. Well, I don't quite understand it. Have you?
I don't get it. I don't get it. Because the thing is, I said, how does it work? They said, you pay 20 quid, you get some clean money, sort of like little vouchers that you stick in the knickers or whatever.
Oh God!
Clean money.
Yeah,
Disinfected money, okay.
they're just like vouchers.
Can you put loose change in there? Because I got a lot of that.
But,
I owe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
20 quid it is.
Right.
And I just don't get it, because I mean I'm not tight with money or anything, but
No.
you pay your 20 quid, they dance in front of you, but you're not allowed to touch, which to me is like going to a restaurant, ordering a nice big warm dinner, and they put it in front of you, and it's like, well, you can't eat it, and you're saying, but well, it's going cold.
I love the idea of some bloke sitting in Stringfellows, businessman, right? He's paid £20. There's an arse waving in his face, and he's going, "Can I not just?" They go, "Don't." Touch. He goes, "It's going cold. Look at it. It's going cold." Oh, that is brilliant. It's going cold. That is, I mean, see, Carl in the week was saying that he doesn't like sayings and phrases and metaphor and analogy, and I was going, you know, and he thinks it's sort of like, you know, one step away from poetry, but he comes out with the most evocative phrases. That is a straightforward analogy. Lap dancing is like being given a meal that you can't eat. See, that's great. That's how you saw it, and that's so much better than saying it's mad you can't touch or it's a waste or you see what I mean? We were trying to inflame his enthusiasm in the week, and I said about different phrases, and he goes, well, why not just say the actual words? I was going, well, it's more poetic, and I told him the Isaac Newton one. If I have seen further than any other man, it's because I've stood on the shoulders of giants. And I said, well, that's because, you know, he's saying, you know, I'm getting lauded for being this great scientist and all these discoveries and being a genius, but I'm saying, you know, if it wasn't for those scholars before me that had come up with what they come up with, you know, I wouldn't have got this far. Carl went, what did you say?
I just said, well, I prefer him to give me a name check. Do you know what I mean, though? If he stood there and he's saying how good everything is, don't just class me, don't sort of put me in with a load of other people. Give me a mention.
If you were one of the other scholars?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there were probably people that died sort of years before him. I think he's saying more that he's thanking the body of work these scientists and these great men had handed down, you know, through either books, material, teachings.
He's not giving a big shout out to the collective science posse.
Yeah, yeah. You know, thank you. Actually, I copied Nigel's. He's not saying that. I was like earwigging. I heard what Nigel said about it, about the third law. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I look into sayings and stuff
Go
a
on.
lot more and see if they work. Well, one that happened a couple of weeks ago, right? You were talking about the you can't have your cake and eat it. Is that what you said?
Well, I never understood that because I thought, well, what's the point of having your cake and not eating it? Rather like your lap dancing analogy. But it actually means you can't have eaten your cake and still have it there.
Yes,
obviously.
exactly.
Well, the time that I saw that saying work, right? I was in Asda with Suzanne.
Yeah.
And you know those big binders you get with nice cakes in them?
Yeah.
For birthdays and that, you can get one with, like, David Beckham on the front of it.
Yeah.
You can have one with, you know, Thomas the Tank Engine, if you want.
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can have one of them. And I saw one of those comedy ones where it is, like, a big pair of breasts.
Yeah.
And that is when, you know, you can have your cake and eat tit.
Play record.
No, but you see
Play
what I'm
record.
saying?
Play record. Play record. I want to talk to you about it. About puns.